Welcome everyone. The North Shore Fire Department Board of Commissioners regular meeting of Tuesday, May 3rd, and now come to order. I've got the thing together. Our first order of business will be roll call.
Good evening, Commissioner Admin,
Here.
Commissioner Pratt, Commissioner Byers,
Here.
Commissioner Webster,
Here.
Commissioner Woolham, here, Chief Morris,
Present.
Chief Cowan,
Here.
Legal Counsel Matt Paxton,
Here.
Lake Forest Park City Council Member Philippa Passover, and Kenmore City Council Member Nigel Herbig are not on the call, and I'm Board Secretary.
So thank you, Amy. If you're following along on the agenda, you'll notice that there's a promotional segment listed at number 2 that's been canceled and will appear on at our next regularly scheduled meeting. Item number 3, public comment.
So if anyone in the room or online, I see one hand raised, Ms. Valenzuela, you can, you have 3 minutes to make your comments.
Hi, everybody. I'm a little disappointed that I did not receive the April 28th meeting announcement or agenda in time to attend and comment. Like the previous announcements meetings, possibly due to the change in the system, it went into another folder and not my primary. And I'm wondering how many other resident stakeholders had the same issue. I think to rush to complete the service agreement by the 30th and the meeting on the 28th announced just 2 days prior and us not getting it in our regular folder left insufficient time to review. I hope that this gets fixed for future meetings because the same thing, happened for this meeting as well. Just because I had seen an announcement somewhere, I was able to find this and contact the board secretary. However, I do hope that this service agreement is a great match for service and all our communities work together for the betterment of all stakeholders. So thank you.
Thank you for your comments. I don't see any other requests for public comment.
That's okay. No further public comment. Thank you, Ms. Venezuela. We'll move on. Item 4, approval of agenda. I make a motion that we accept the agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Okay, approval of agenda is unanimous. Item 5, board discussion of possible action items. 5.1, conversation with our local. I knew that Doug Lozier maybe was going to make some comments tonight.
Oh, he's on there.
Mr. Lozier, would you like to make a comment this evening? Mr. Lozier, can you hear us? Let's get a second here.
Says it's muffled.
There it is.
Hello. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to say anything. I apologize. It's a little muffled, so I wasn't able to quite hear you were referring to me. As you may know, I believe you do, that Local 1760 and Local 2459 are actually now just Local 1760. We were able to merge together, and so we are now one entity moving forward with the whole contract for service. So that's a great accomplishment that is, mainly been possible because we've been such a tight organization over all these years anyway. I did want to say thank you very much for your trust in Shoreline and Local 1760 to continue to represent all the citizens in the Kenmore Lake Forest Park area. As a Shoreline citizen myself, I take a high pride in high quality of service, very important, because I directly know how it impacts me and my fellow neighbors. So we plan to carry that same quality of service for the North Shore area as well. So thank you again for trusting us to do that job.
Thank you, Mr. Loader. Commissioners, any questions or comments? All right, moving on. Item 5.2, next steps, contract for services with Shoreline Fire Department.
Chief Gallen. So it's been said, well, again, this is really awesome that we're at this place. But it was also, it's been said a few times now, I think, that now the hard work begins. But I really look forward to this because it is great work to be doing, and the challenge is definitely there, but I'm excited about, what we can do together. So briefly, there's a few things that are kind of higher up on my list right now. The first is to get with President Lozier and Vice President Ford and Vice President Crossley to make sure that we're fine with all the impacts and anything that else needs to be negotiated. We haven't really TA'd anything, kind of waiting for the ILA to get done, but we have done a lot of work in preparation for it through the blending committee and through different conversations and meetings and so forth. We have a meeting set up, 2 meetings actually for next week, and a whole list of things that we kind of somewhat agreed to. I sent you a copy of that. You can share it if you'd like. It's not private. It's just that it's gonna be a work in progress. As far as the things that we're gonna work on. Nothing that is probably anything new that we haven't at least scratched the surface on so far. But that's gonna be my first priority, and then as soon as we get those things done and implemented into policy, so that the guys and gals know exactly what to be doing on June 1st. That's part of that genesis there. The other thing is that,
Can we have those shared with our board members?
Sure.
As they go along?
I was gonna wait until after our first meeting so that it was updated, but I can send you what we have so far if you'd like. Okay, I can do that. So, and then the next piece is to set up the budget for the integrated budget, and also hopefully work with Commissioner Webster on developing the legislative budget or whatever's going to remain in the North Shore's budget, if that's appropriate.
Yeah, we have actually an item to discuss that later.
Okay. Sure.
On that.
And then the other thing that I'd like to do is I'm hoping that this next week sit down with the North Shore staff to look at the job descriptions, make sure that everybody feels comfortable with where we're at, talk about any questions that they have, and be able to start moving forward with the planning, again, of how to integrate staff. So those are the kind of the top 3 things that are on my list right now. If there's something else that you'd like to see as a high priority, I'm happy to address that as well.
I know that you have a couple of meetings set aside for that impact voting. So we'll be able to get most of that taken care of in those 2 meetings.
Okay, yes. There's a lot on there, but at the same time, I don't think there's anything that's really new. So I'm hoping that we can quickly go through it and so forth. And again, we've already gone back and forth a bit with some of the ideas and some of the even some of the language and so forth. So fingers crossed, hopefully I'll definitely have a better idea after next week.
Two more questions. One is, we're gonna check with the payroll department about setting up budgeting.
Right.
How's that?
I delegated that to Chief Foster, our deputy chief, and Joyce Brown, our administrative director, to work, figure out how to set up staff to generate that report so that we can send it to ADP so that we can track as we discussed. I know they're working on it. They've done a test run of one of our units. It was a little clunky, so they're working on it. But it's definitely a high on their list.
The second item I have was, now that this is going through the house, you have a review committee on equipment between the two records. How's that?
I know that they've met a couple of times. I've asked for Chief Foster to tie in with the committee to get a report out, and I haven't gotten it back yet. But there are definitely some items on the document that I'm going to send you that have to do with like equipment location and host configurations, things like that are definitely in kind of the lower level, street level operations impacts that we've got to address.
Will there be some cost impacts? So we want to keep
There could be. Most things will probably be, either minimal or no impacts. Certainly, if we have to reconfigure hose or something like that, that could have an impact.
And dovetail on that, we have a meeting with Chief Foster and BC Hanson on Thursday at 9:30 to discuss that. Exactly.
Okay.
So, yeah, before the time.
More than
Once
it.
Only a few things.
Yeah.
Before the time and apparatus.
Oh, yes.
Discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, with Chief Taylor.
All
So,
right.
yeah, Chief Taylor was down here today. We're going through facility stuff. Joyce and BOFA have been here all week, delivering HR training to all the staff. So it's been awesome. It's been a lot. It's been good.
Is there a implementation schedule for the peak hour 8-car at 57s?
Yes, that's targeted for July 1st. And the reason for that is to have all of our students that are in the academy to come out so that we're not tapping harder on our strained staffing levels already and waiting for that to occur. So around July 1st. It may not be exactly on July 1st, but around that point. And we currently have 10 in the academy. Is there anything else that you'd like to see as a higher priority? This list will probably answer some of those questions too. Okay.
Thanks, Chief. Okay, item 5.3, our district insurance discussion.
Yeah, as you recall, I believe it was the last meeting where we had the conversation about the insurance piece. We got the recommendation and the quote from our carrier, VFIS, to make sure the board is covered. You're covered for training and travel and that type of stuff. Basically, it's $1 million general liability policy. So the quote came in at $8,600, and we had decided to, okay, that sounds good, but we're going to hold off until the ILA is signed. So the ILA is now signed, and if we want to move forward on that, I would do so.
I'm moving forward with it, but I would like to see the umbrella that we get from Shoreline, see their insurance coverage, how documentation shows the coverage. So,
Mhm.
is that coming?
Yeah, the underwriter has all of the information. I will check to see where that policy is. That if I hear you correctly, though, the insurance that he's talking about is not going to be under Shoreline's umbrella.
Right.
Oh, okay.
No, but I want to make sure that we have,
The rest of the coverage.
Yeah, we want to make sure.
Sure.
That's what
I don't think that will take very long because I know that you had to get all the information to her to generate the new premium, so that shouldn't be hard.
I just want to remind everyone to speak up for the microphone.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm usually pretty loud.
And I'm going to actually close this door so that way. Thank you. Oh.
Chief Morse, what's the timeline that we're looking at? When do we need to have this new policy in place?
June 1st is what we're looking at.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a little time. Commissioner Webster, if Chief Calendar sent information to you, for confirmation that decision at the second May meeting.
Yes.
How about Chief?
Sure, I think so. Yeah.
Should be able to get that to you.
Yeah. They're, the insurance side is, they're ready to go, so.
And we have a motion already in place, right? Am I correct, Amy, that once the ILA has been signed and we have no more questions, we'll just move forward.
It's just a matter of reviewing both. Sure.
Just as a side note, don't quote me exactly on the number, but just putting us all under the same, policy, I think saved around $30,000 for, which is shown on just the North Shore savings.
Any other questions concerning the insurance policy? All right. So item 5.4, administrative tasks not covered under contract for services. And we do have an established subcommittee consisting of Commissioner Byers and Commissioner Webster. Investigating this. I suspect that Commissioner Webster might want a little break.
I don't mind this, but I just need to, we've been so busy on the ILA, they took everything that we had. And I think, Commissioner Myers and myself, we proceed with that and have some meetings now with this.
Okay.
And have some time, so let's keep it on the agenda for the next 2 weeks out, and we will meet in the meantime. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
I just want to review the other issue.
Yeah. And I would suggest that you sit down with Chief Callen with that list, and I'm imagining that vast majority of it will be covered by shoreline, but we just need to establish, obviously, what we're missing and then how we proceed to make sure that we cover that.
And if it doesn't happen by June 1st, it's not like you already have a budget. It's not like it's going to be the end of the world or anything. The one thing that would be nice from an efficiency standpoint is to make sure that we're looking at the same, like using the same bars, line items, and so forth from a formatting standpoint, so that it makes it easier for us to track, and help manage your budget for the future. Yes, exactly.
So, we have a pretty good list already developed. We just want to review it.
Sure.
We're not missing something on it.
When you have time or have questions, please feel free to contact me. Other than that, I'll just let you guys work on it.
Chief, any other comments on the legislative expenses that you were going to address earlier?
No, that was pretty much it. It was just, working together on whatever the budget was going to look like. So.
Commissioner Byers, are you still comfortable serving on that committee? Got the thumbs up. Okay, item 5.5, our stalled training structure.
I'll take this one there.
Yeah, so we had plans and budgeted $130,000 for putting up the training building. We have not had any bandwidth to work on it. And well, we did work on it up until April. And then I said, all right, we got too much going on. In digging into it deeper, the construction costs have at least doubled. So just the electrical alone, we were looking at about 80 grand to get a 150 amp panel out there. We weren't going to get what we wanted for the price we wanted, not even close. So I said, all right, let's put the brakes on, bring it back to the board. And my recommendation is that we address it in the 23 budget if we want to move ahead with that.
Let's continue to preserve that, can you say 180?
130.
130.
Yeah. Don't touch it, leave it there, you can roll it over. And if we still feel it's a priority, which I do, but I think by then we'll we'll have a better idea of what's gonna happen with training and our needs for long term. And we can make a better decision.
Questions, comments? Sound good?
Yes, just the structure.
Right, item 5.6, parliamentary procedures discussion concerning policy 1410. So late last month, we had I guess middle of last month, we had a parliamentary procedure training, and the instructor recommended a series of changes to how we conduct meetings in our policy. And so what I'm hoping is that a small group of us would be willing to, a subcommittee or an individual would be willing to sit down, look at that information, and recommend suggested changes, edits to our policy, potential changes to how we conduct business in our meetings. So is there a commissioner or two who would be willing to take that on?
I would take it on with someone else. I just feel I'm too new to kind of do it on my own yet, so.
Sure.
I'll work on it with you.
Okay.
Yes.
You sure, right? There's room for one more.
Any objections to that? I don't know. Val, you good? All right. Yeah. Item 6, board resolutions, none. Item 7, our consent agenda. Chair would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the consent agenda? So now we'll now vote. All in favor of confirming the consent agenda as presented, please say aye.
I
Aye.
Aye. And aye.
Aye.
Excellent, thanks, Tyler. It's unanimous. All right, item 8, reports, fire chief.
Yeah, I had two things I wanted to talk about that I needed some input on. One was the insurance, and that's been taken care of. And the other one has been something that Zeb Middleton's been working on. He's received updated quotes for our station security. And this is not the camera piece. This is the keypad, access gates and doors. So if Zeb is on there, he's going to give us an update.
Thank you, Chief and Commissioners. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
So I spoke with you a couple times now about the, sorry, my mouse here, the security system, door system, and the replacements that are needed at Station 51 and 57. For tonight, like I said, specifically talking about the door system, not the camera system. The current door system is aged and needs to be replaced for various reasons we've discussed before. The board agreed that it would be proper to replace the system with the same system that is used at Shoreline. So this would be more efficient and have the consolidation and integration of having all locations on the same door system. So we received quotes from the vendors, a couple different vendors, so we had comparisons. For Station 51, the quote was $23,737. And then for Station 57, it was $10,663. That I'm gonna write those down, but those numbers are to replace everything that's there today, as well as adding some additional doors into the system based on the needs of the location and the building. As we walked with BC Anders and Chief Morris, using what the doors that the crews use, as well as others that would be nice to have, and including the gate. So the gate there at 51, well, Shoreline is currently replacing all the gate modules at all of their locations so that they have a consistent key fob that will be mounted on the dash of every vehicle, so that one fob opens up all gates at all locations. And so that is not, there's no cost as part of this for North Shore, because Shoreline is buying the controller for your gate as well. So one of the things we are removing from the system today is a, what do you call it, Chief, an RFID reader, or it's a thing that's mounted to the bumper of the vehicle so that when they drive by, it'll automatically open the gate. and that has been problematic. We looked into the cost of getting a replacement of that, but looking at the cost of that RFID system, and we said that's just too high. We'd rather just have the fob like Shoreline has and just have a consistent experience for all firefighters.
I have a question for you, Zeb.
Sure.
With this new door system, do we have a printout or can we get a printout of who's using which doors? I mean, whose code gets punched in, you know, if we have an issue with a door being accessed, and we have a way of retrieving that information.
Absolutely, yes. There'll be a printout for any location that this is installed at. Right now, because Shoreline has multiple buildings and only one of the buildings or two of the buildings are on this system so far, they use a generic code. But as we get all buildings onto the system, then we can have user individual codes, and then we can experience or have the reporting ability of who is using what door, as well as if a door is propped open and how long it's propped open, things like that. And when somebody exits a door, it doesn't, you obviously don't enter a code to exit, but it shows the time that a door was opened from the inside as well. And then again, how long it was open and if it was propped open, things like that. So it gives you a report per door. And then in the future, yes, we will have individual personal codes that can be reported on.
Questions for Zeb? All right, anything else for us, Zeb?
Nope, nothing at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one question, which is, I guess, do we need to authorize any expenditure, or is that, we already have, okay.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, we're good to go on that? Okay.
We get that authorization for.
Yes.
Great, and that was the last thing on my report. I just wanted to get some further direction on that, and unless there's any questions or comments.
Any other questions for the chief on his report? Item 8.2, commission reports. Okay, I had just one thing. I wanted to make sure that maybe our website gets updated with information about sign.la.
Right, I just saw the signed version PDF came in today, so I'll update that tonight.
And then just, under that initial tag, the last note is that we're having the meeting on the 28th. So updating that to reflect.
Right.
Now it's still from both points. Right. Okay. Any more reports? Item 8.3, legal counsel.
A small report here. On Friday, the governor repealed Proclamation 2028, which is the proclamation regarding open public meetings. So we've kind of come back to the pre-COVID requirements for open public meetings, which is in person. Here you guys are. Members of the public can attend virtually. And in fact, there's recent legislation, I think I talked about this in the past, that has some certain requirements for allowing the public to attend remotely. I've looked through all those and you're in compliance with that. So no change required. I just wanted to give you an update on the recent change in the law.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Paxton. Any questions from the board? Okay. Item 9, upcoming board agendas. Setting of future meetings. If we need to lock down, maybe can you speak back what our current agenda?
Yes, so for the May 17th meeting, there'll be a promotional ceremony. And there is a request that 2021 annual report be on the agenda. Is that something the commissioners approve? Is that why it would be on the agenda?
Who requested that?
Dawn requested that it be on the agenda. The annual report.
Yeah, we had the team there already.
We saw the draft. So just the board,
Did approve the report.
okay,
It's final form.
so that
Until
will,
it's published.
Is that something that's posted on our website already, or do we have to approve it before we post it?
That's my assumption, that we'll approve the final draft.
so there'll be an approval of the 2021 annual report, maybe an update from the subcommittee on administrative items not covered under contract or service, and a possible update from the subcommittee on policy 1410.
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay, I'll push that out.
Let's put that for the first.
First week in June. Okay,
Are we still keeping like I 35.2, the next steps of contract?
yeah, I
Yeah,
figure
so
that's
ongoing.
ongoing.
Anything else that commissioners would like to see? All right. Well, we've reached the end of our agenda, and without objection, meeting is adjourned.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Tyler.